Sagittarius, this is your November 2024 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, this is the reading for you. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I appreciate you tuning in. We're going to open up this month with the energy of the Daughter of Swords. I think you're really kind of oscillating back and forth this month over something, and you know, it feels like it could be causing a little bit upheaval in your thinking, but what you have in your favor is this energy gathering planetarily in Sagittarius. So Venus already in your sign, Mercury moves in on the 2nd, and of course you'll welcome your solar returns later this month. But, you know, you have a lot up for reevaluation. And I think in that exploration, you need to consider like what's coming up for you, you know, and why. So there's definitely some inner reflection that's needed. Now we've got the new moon coming in Scorpio on the 1st of the month. Of course, that's your 12th house energy. You've something to say. And I feel like there's almost like, if I don't say this now, you know, almost feels like I might never have the courage to say it, or there might never be another opportune time to say it. So, you know, there's definitely something that you're kind of gearing up to. And as I said, backwards and forth a little bit, but you know, you're ready to draw a line and actually move on and give yourself permission to really lean into what would life feel like without this. Now, as we understand, you know, November is set to be definitely like, you know, a firework month. There's going to be a lot unfolding, and you know, we're 44 weeks in, we've got 8 weeks left of the year, and it's just like, you know, where are you at? There's a lot of looking back, and then a consideration of, you know, how do I really want to like wrap this year up? You know, what is my personal legacy? You know, how am I really allowing the lessons and the experiences to change me and to move me forward in a way that feels like it's in alignment, right? So that new moon in Scorpio helping you set some powerful intentions at the same time as allowing the deep release to go on. That 12th house is an awful lot of work and energy behind the scenes, right? And so there may be things you're thinking about that you're not quite ready to share. I think even by the end of the month that could shift, but certainly at the beginning in November and that first week, which is pretty charged, right? On the 3rd, we're going to have Juno shifting into Scorpio, asteroid goddess. Here we're sort of creating some unbreakable bonds, and there's some powerful conversations unfolding for you with that Page of Swords. News, information and messages on their way in, and actually you've got this beautiful Ace of Coins that talks about renewal, maybe starting over, maybe allowing a new path to kind of really take your focus and attention in a way that perhaps before it didn't feel possible, you weren't quite ready, or you know, simply by circumstances you're now like, okay, I'm gonna have to start where I am, use what I've got, and you know, be that new version of self, right? And Mercury and Sag is just helping you to express yourself in a way that makes sense. Now let's be mindful that we do have a retrograde coming up, so you're going to start to feel the shadow of it from about the 7th, and it stations retrograde in Sagittarius on the 25th. And so you're kind of changing your language around things, but there might be a little bit of again, some sort of upheaval or discord that feels like it's coming through as you're trying to, you know, figure out this new sense of self and how you want to show up and who you want to be moving forward. And, you know, that's going to impact on the way that you communicate and the way that you're thinking about things. You know, you're going to be pouring back over an awful lot in November, and be at peace with that, yeah? But Juno supporting these unbreakable bonds, and perhaps that help and support, because it does feel like that. It feels like someone's offering or showing or demonstrating something that is actually incredibly valuable to you in November. There's work to do for sure. It's the beginning of a new cycle there with an Ace. You have to be intentional about how you want to use that energy, but I think it can serve you well. Now on the 3rd, we've also got Mars in Leo, opposite Pluto, and Venus opposite Jupiter. So an intensity, you know, just coming through, and some tension. And of course we've got that Mars shadow energy as well ahead of the retrograde happening in December. And so, you know, it feels like it's stirring things up. So there's a strong sensation of just like, what is it going to take for me to be able to maintain my sense of balance when all around me things feel like they are in a permanent and increasingly more grand state of flux right now, okay? We do have, of course, 11:11 arriving, and on the same day Venus coming out of your sign but shifting into Capricorn to kind of level things a little bit and actually help you to feel quite strongly about where you want to commit your energy. Now, of course, that 11:11 portal is going to help encourage the way that you want to manifest what the next vision or the next important thing is. And there's definitely a feeling in November about having to take action, whether you're ready or not. But your Queen of Cups does say, put yourself into an energy of receiving and listening. There's something really important landing for you in and around that time of the month. Now, remember, it's also just ahead of Saturn stationing direct in Pisces, where we have a huge karmic clearance happening and actually some deep healing. And for you, with that 12th house energy, that feels really significant. So I think, getting to a point where you're able to really sort of let go of some kind of limiting belief. I think what also comes through is, we understand, like, we don't do the work. The growth isn't here to sort of arrive at some like utopian outcome where all of a sudden all of your needs, wants and desires are met instantaneously. Nothing is ever perfect. Are there ever perfect conditions? No, there's going to continue to be more and more contrast and flux. But what the work does is enable you to evolve and to be able to access, higher understanding, deeper self-awareness, more compassion, and let go of things that are impacting you negatively, both physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. That's the win here. You're still going to be navigating external circumstances that feel like they're coming along to test you. But there's something about that understanding and that willingness to say, I just want to be the best I can be right now, and having that gratitude for what you have around you and what is showing up and what is shining a light. It's about recognizing that so much is being kind of stripped back. And in some ways you might find that, there's a much deeper desire to just have more of a sense of simplicity in your life. It's a shape-shifting season for sure. Whenever these planets station retrograde or direct, there's a little bit of disruption in our equilibrium. You're already going through that, so it doesn't feel like it's necessarily being called out singularly. However, we've got the energy of the Hermit coming through here. So there's a deep, wise contemplation that you're having, almost a little sobering. Saturn feels quite sobering with his presence sometimes. But, shifting direct, there's a like, okay, we've learned, we've taken heed. Now, we're going to kind of allow you to progress here, but make sure you're doing it in a way that really serves you and your highest good. And you're in commune here with that part of yourself, that direct contact, that prayer, that intention, that belief that actually, a lot of what is happening for you and to you right now is being deeply guided. There might be an introspective period where you feel like you want to withdraw, or you might be feeling like you're on the receiving end of somebody withdrawing. There might be, again, as I said, this oscillation between communication, no communication, a lot happening, everything going quiet. And it just feels like this is part of the dance, really, of November. So kind of being mindful and aware of that, this shape-shifting. I have this phrase of you saying, what on earth? Like, literally, what on earth? And perhaps sometimes when you're in that place of in-between and you can't quite get a grasp or a handle on why, there's something that is inviting you to go within and to just really kind of focus on what you are being asked to address or acknowledge or understand within yourself. Sometimes that's where we, we'll find the power, we'll find the understanding. It's not by looking outwardly and observing things that clearly make no logical sense, right? Now we've got a full moon in Taurus arriving on the 15th, mid-month at 24 degrees. Again, a beautiful opportunity for the manifestation of something, a tangible reality to come through. You've got the Queen of Wands here. I really like this feminine energy showing up, fire and water. It just feels deeply creative, really inspiring. And I think that, as you are considering something, like I said, going backwards and forwards and wondering, is this too hard? Is this too much? But also recognizing the beauty and the kind of adventure and the sort of the pull of it, and realizing that it's kind of mirroring a part of you that needs something more. And so I like her showing up because I think she's giving you courage, and I think you need courage this month, right? You need the courage this month, because as you step into your solar returns, there's a bigger change happening. You know, there's a bigger personal change that needs to be understood by the people around you, but mostly by you, like mostly by you yourself, right? You know, if I've really come this far and let go of so much, and my perspective, and that's a big word for November, right? Perspective. My perspective has shifted irrevocably. What does that mean? So that full moon in Taurus feels potent and powerful, and actually incredibly grounding at the same time as acknowledging deeply in a very wise, contemplative kind of capacity, like this needs to go, this needs to be done. And of course it's right ahead of, you know, Pluto finally moving out of Capricorn on the 19th, as, you know, this age of Aquarius really takes root, and this understanding of like, I can't go back. Like, I can't go back. There's like this sensation of like, that's it, it's done, it's, you know, it's really, and that can be tough, right? So there can be, you know, a deep sort of grieving, or, you know, some sense of having to process emotionally in regards to that. But at the same time, there's this huge sort of window of opportunity and this expansion knocking on your door. And that Ace of Coins is saying, look at the value of this. Look at the beauty and kind of what this holds for you. And even if you can't see yet what it's going to turn into, you know, it's like, mark my words, this is something that's here destined to support your evolution and what happens next. And you'll feel that. You'll feel the sanctuary of it. You'll feel the nourishment and nurturing that you want to apply and devote to it, okay? So that's the beautiful upside and silver lining of kind of what comes through. Of course, the sun shifts into your sign on the 21st. Beautiful energy to really harness and capitalize. And I feel around this time, you know, we've got the Four of Cups, but it's like, even if you need some time out, like everything remains, you know, it's just like what you've built, what you've invested in, what's already a part of your world, you can return to. But if you just need some time to kind of reflect and more just more discernment around kind of what is the next right step, that's okay, right? Now, as I said, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius from the 25th feels a little bit disruptive, but at the same time, it's like it's strange to say you welcome it, but I think it just gives you a chance to go back over something and maybe slow it down. Not that it was like moving too fast, but I just think it's so chaotic and there's so much happening that in some ways to be able to just take a step out and just go, how do I actually really feel about this, will be super helpful. How do I really want to respond with regards to this? And if you're waiting, if something gets held up, you haven't received something that you thought you would have by this point, again, that just gives you time and opportunity to actually think, did I want it in the first place? Or was I sort of on this you know, merry-go-round that I just felt I had no choice, or I was kind of compelled to move in that way or in that direction. Now in November we've got 2 new moons, right? And the second one is in your sign, coming in on the 30th, and you know, a beautiful opportunity then in the midst of that reevaluation and that reset and understanding what's coming up for you, to then think about, okay, what next? And you know, I think it's a powerful question actually, and it can be an empowering question as well, because you realize that there are far more options available than what is initially considered or perhaps communicated to you in regards to some aspect of your life. You know, if you can consider that this is about a period where you want to be living unbound and you get to rewrite the rules for many things, right? Then this is where you begin. This is the whole new beginning, right? And you can do this. It just feels like this is about the courage and the belief that you have in your own sense of self. I think that around that time as well, you're definitely coming back into contact with things or with people that are going to be an important part of what happens next, either because they need to be resolved, or but you know, perhaps there's something still of value that needs to be understood. And because I have you in a strong listening mode in November, and a strong sort of observing and witnessing of things. I think again you're being given the time and you're having the right attitude and approach to really think carefully before you then commit, invest or speak or share or whatever that looks like. But what I can say is that you're going to feel at peace and aligned with the next step that you take this month. I feel that very powerfully for you with that Queen of Fire coming in right in the center of your reading, with that wisdom that you've kind of allowed to activate and download to you through the Hermit, right? It matters. Now, if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended reading, you can find the link in the comment and description box. I hope you'll join me. We talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll look at a personal question and a relationship card for you as well. And you can find that in the link below. So I'm just going to go ahead and clarify the cards, see the direction we'll take this. Please do check out my 11/11 activations to work with through November, and if you haven't already checked out my new journal, it's going to be arriving in November. This is the 3rd of my sacred titles. I've got my oracle deck and my book. The journal is a beautiful soul companion for you, exactly what you need right now. You will fill it and record in it everything that is, you know, weaved into what you know about yourself, your spiritual journey, and it will be something you can return to as like a beautiful handbook and companion over and over again. It's just going to complement the other diaries and planners that you've got. So please do check it out. You'll find the links again below. It's over on romywiser.com. Okay, what have we got here? Hierophant and the Hermit, King of Swords. What about this Queen? The Well and the Empress. Beautiful creative energy, actually. So what comes out of the oscillating backwards and forwards, any of the disruption, what you're seeing, what you're observing, is this sort of deep knowing and this coming together with things that are destined for you on your path right now. All the decks I use are always listed below, Sagittarius. Okay, let's have a look at some oracles for this month. What do we have? Spirit Horse, Sovereign Power, along with a Chariot. Beautiful movement there, you see. Spirit Stag, Heavenly Timing. There's our Saturn direct happening. Queen of Earth, you're having all the queens show up this month. Earth Star energy, Sacred Ceremony. Look at that, sacral energy along with the Queen of Fire and the Empress. You're definitely birthing something new in your world. It's really beautiful. Okay. Right, one more oracle for Sagittarius for the month of November. What do we have? If you feel like you're in this in-between, you know, you're just building bridges, Sagittarius. That's all you're doing this month. You're building bridges from where you are to where you're going to get to. And those bridges are going to become clearer in your mind. Scrying. Trust your visions, intuition, plant seeds. Beautiful. Okay. We will leave it there. I hope you'll join me in the extended. We'll carry on with this conversation, see where it takes us. Have a beautiful month of November. Take good care. Enjoy your solar returns if you have a birthday this month. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you next time.